The topic is domestic violence, and the guest is Miss Jarrett from EJarrett House, and she is the executive director of this facility. And of course, Ms. Jarrett, let's talk about this in the sense that we could perhaps bring some additional support for what you need as well as what the city of Nashville needs. Certainly you need some additional help to expand your facility, but the city of Nashville, with only 2 or 3 facilities, needs some additional support to expand the number of facilities that are available. And where would we start? What would be the first place that we would start in terms of trying to convince people of the need of such problems? I mean, the need of such facilities. Would you talk about the incidence of domestic violence? Is it a lot of folks fighting one another in the city of Nashville?
The incidences are high.
High.
I don't know what the percentage is right now, but it's high because I'm going by the calls that I get. I can get 6 to 8 calls a day.
Good.
From women.
From women. Yeah, that's a real problem. Okay.
That's a real problem.
That's a real high.
Yeah, that's a high problem. And that's just me.
It ones that requires more facilities than available. If you're getting 6 and you can only hold 1 or 2.
And I can only hold 1 or 2. So if I'm full, I have no idea what they do unless they stay with their perpetrator or stay with somebody else. Now, I have advised a lot of them to go out of county. If you can find a shelter that will take you out of county, just go out of county, because if we're full, it's nothing I can tell you to do.
Well, I don't imagine that there's anything that you could do out of county if you come to Nashville as the largest the capital
metropolitan area,
and you can't find any assistance here. You can't think of going over in Smyrna or somewhere.
That's right.
That's right. So it's a real problem.
It's a problem.
Well, now what are women themselves saying in reference to what ought to be done, or what they think that could be done?
When you say women themselves, you mean the women that are being abused?
So how do they feel in reference to?
You know, they are so in tune to taking care of themselves and their children. I don't even think that they stop and think about it, because the only thing that they are conscious of is trying to be safe and trying to make sure their children are okay.
So they're on the run in a real sense, so they don't have time to talk, be advocating and
the politics of it, which is our job.
Yes, ma'am.
And once we get them calm, then the only other thing that they are concentrating on are the children.
Very good. And you find a large number of children are caught up in it when they leave the home. The children ordinarily leave with them. They don't ordinarily stay. Now, do you find that these are very young children, or what? Very
babies. Some of them are babies. Yes.
Babes in arms in some instances.
Yes. On up until teenagers. Yes.
So this is a...
Now, we have a program that we just started. We got a grant for a program that we just started called the Successful Sons of Survivors.
Okay.
And we are educating people on little boys from the ages of 3 to 17, because nobody pays that age group any attention, and they're the ones that actually carry the cycle. So when you got a little boy that's 3 years old and he's living in a violent home, he's going to start patterning after what he sees. It's not cute for him to slap you. It's not cute for him to bite you. So you need to start picking up on that, because when he gets 5, and starts to school,
he's going
you'll be at school every day, because he'll still have that same behavior. So we have this grant where we'll go around educating people on this Successful Sons of Survivors, because we want people to start paying attention to the little boys, and maybe we can break this cycle of violence.
Well, and dealing with grants, how successful have you been?
Not very good. Because not very successful.
It seems to me that there
First grant I've had in a long time. First one I've had in a long time.
And you're not, and people don't seem to be, some of the folks who are perpetrating some of this domestic violence, who are also in very, very high situations and high classes, who seem to ignore.
They're in all classes. Nobody is exempt. Nobody is exempt. I spoke at MTSU a couple of years ago, and the first thing one of the students said that, well, we don't have to worry about it because we're in college. And I had to get up and tell her, honey, you're not exempt.
Okay.
You're the one that won't count.
Okay.
We won't count because you won't tell anybody.
That's right. Okay.
Because of the security that you have. But everybody's at stake.
And of course, those individuals who are in college are in a situation to be advocates.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of that.
Oh, yeah, because it's happening on the college campuses.
Speak to that. What are they telling you about college campuses? Because every now and then we find, we see a news.
It's very strong on college campuses. Now, the children won't talk about it openly to us, but they will talk to me when I leave. But it's very high.
And these are all generally unmarried individuals who have girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever, and they get into kind of...
domestic violence starts in the age 10.
Okay, speak to that. I didn't know.
Little boys start beating on little girls at that age, and the children in high school are dealing with it. And see, they think because he calls you 24 hours a day or every day and wants to know where you are, that he loves you.
But
no, he's possessing you.
Trying to keep track of you.
He's trying to keep track of you. So the little girls don't know. They need to be taught what's possessive and what's not possessive behavior, because it can lead to a form of possession.
Well, now, do you think that because it's such a problem in all age categories and all economic categories, do you think that the school system, metropolitan school system, perhaps they do have some kind of program dealing with domestic violence that they could introduce? They don't have those kind of...
As far as I know, they don't.
Well,
as far as I know, they don't.
It seems to me that would be the place.
It would be one.
Yeah, that would be one of the places that people could start if we want to talk about if we are
sincere in breaking the cycle.
That's right.
You need to start in the classroom, and you need to start in the young classroom, because see, we all want to go to the ages of 10.
All right.
By the time those little boys get to 10 years old, they already have their habits formed.
They do.
So if you don't catch them at 3, then you're going to have a 10-year-old picking up a gun.
I know that I've got a granddaughter who's 5 years old and who's in kindergarten now.
She knows right from wrong.
Right, and she tells us about some of the young men that are there that are doing the kind of things that you would never expect a 5-year-old in kindergarten child to be doing. Touching them inappropriately and saying things and slapping them around.
And see, when you tell people that, they look, oh, that's not happening. Yes, it is happening.
But I'm finding out from her experiences, because she comes home every day and talks about that.
It's
and
real
she talks
life.
about it all the time, too, as if it's...
She's right. And see, those kids started this behavior at the age of 3.
Okay, and so by the time they get to kindergarten...
They thought it was cute.
That's
you know, we all think our children are cute. I thought mine was cute.
But by the time they get to 5, 6, and 7 years old, and then later on they get into...
It's too late.
Yeah, it's a real problem.
It's a problem then. It's a problem. And then everybody's got to take notice.
Very good. Yeah,
so if anybody wants us to come and do the presentation, just give us a call.
That's what I think would be important in terms of community centers and those kinds of organizations where they have these small daycare centers, whatever, and if your organization could somehow get in there and start dealing, at least leave some kind of program there with those folks. I think that this is... But would you say in a real sense that there's no real interest in dealing with domestic violence? Is that...
I don't think there is an interest. I really don't. But we've been successful with the project. We've done it twice at TSU, but the TSU was interested, and you know, these are young adults, so a lot of them don't have children. Some of them did have children. So, and we've gotten a good response from the ones that we did. We haven't done it to the parents yet, so to speak. So that's our next presentation. Okay,
and very good. And of course, we've got about a minute and 30 seconds before we end this program for today, Ms. Jarrett. Perhaps there's something that you were thinking of perhaps leaving us with on the way out, outside the fact that you need money, and I think that we know that, and what we're going to do is try to do everything that we possibly can in terms of helping you to do that.
I appreciate
is there anything else that you think that we might be able to do as a community to assist you in those other 2 shelter centers that we have in metropolitan Nashville?
The other 2 shelters are pretty, just be supportive.
Just be supportive, and to recognize that it is not an isolated kind of thing, and that...
and just think broadly about domestic violence. It's not in a cocoon.
Okay.
It's not AIDS.
All right.
It's real.
It's real. Very
it's
good.
real.
And of course, let me thank you over the last half minute that we have
welcome.
here, Ms. Jarrett, for bringing us that excellent information, and especially the ability to tie domestic violence into some of the health care problems, some of the gang problems and other problems that we're having. Because I think that when we can see it at that angle, and then we understand the cost that is associated with that, then we can probably come out and do something.
Thank you for having
get organized in reference. We certainly appreciate you coming by. And of course, let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.